The Forest of Shadows. On the edge of the afterlife, beyond the limits of time and space that the living understand, there existed a place of perpetual shadows, the Forest of Shadows. A vast landscape where lost souls and forgotten memories floated, trapped in an eternal whisper. Each tree, carved with the pain of centuries, stood in a silence that no one could break. The fog, dense and cold, covered everything, distorting the shapes and the sense of reality. Those who came to this forest no longer remembered who they had been or what had brought them there. They only knew that they could not move forward or back. Among those shadows, two souls met. No one knew if they had sought each other out or if their destinies had crossed by pure chance. What they did know was that something in their essence spoke to them with the urgency of an incomprehensible desire. They were two beings condemned to not rest, condemned to relive their fears again and again. He, a young man with a face marked by the suffering of a life cut short. She, a woman who had forgotten the warmth of light, trapped in the cold and gloom of her own existence. Together, they walked through the forest, their footsteps echoing in the stillness, as if the entire forest of shadows was watching them, waiting for them to face what terrified them. As they walked further, the darkness grew thicker, more oppressive. Yet, in the mist, something strange began to happen. Shadows seemed to take shape, representing each of their deepest fears. Figures emerged with familiar faces, echoes of past betrayals, of irrecoverable losses. The trees, ancient witnesses of despair, leaned towards them, as if trying to whisper the truths that had never been told. But it was not only terror that held them together. Something deeper bound them together, an invisible force that drove them forward, even though each step brought them closer to the darkest part of their souls. In the endless cold, memories began to become clear. He realized that he had loved someone else before reaching the forest, and she understood that she had been responsible for a lost life. These were the monsters that stalked them, the shadows of decisions not made. In a last attempt at redemption, they decided to face their shadows. The fight was not physical, but internal, a duel against the scars of the soul that were woven inside them. The darkness weighed down their hearts, but together, they gave each other strength to look at what they feared. And in the end, when the last fear faded, the forest, which seemed to have fed on their anguish, began to crumble. The fog lifted, and, for the first time in what seemed like an eternity, the light from beyond began to filter through. Yet in that moment of peace, a whisper rang out on the wind. The reality of their situation was not what they believed. They were not meant to find peace together. The Forest of Shadows was not a place where lost souls met, but a space where souls, when faced with their fears, turned on each other, destroying themselves in the process. Upon awakening to the truth, they both dissolved into the mist, as if they had never existed. The forest continued to exist, empty, waiting for the next souls who, like them, would believe they would find solace in the darkness.